Hello, friends. Welcome back to Astrology Today. My name is Mel Rose. Today, I'm going to give you a preview of Decan 15. That would be the 15th 10-day segment of the year if you start at January 1st. So this covers the next 10 days starting on Sunday, May 21st, and going through May 31st, the very end of the month. And it also represents the first 10 days of the sun's transit in the land of Gemini. Now, with the change of a decan, we get a change in a corresponding tarot card. There's a pip or a numbered tarot card that relates to each decan. And this one is the Eight of Swords, partly because we're in Gemini. Gemini is an air sign, and swords in tarot equal air element symbolism. Air element symbolism is about those mercurial vibes, the thoughts, plans, and communications, the way we talk to other people and about ourselves, the things that we decide to do, and sort of the running around that we do too, like the regular day-to-day stuff. So Sun in Gemini is a time when, our outer lives come to sort of revolve more around collaboration with others. It's a time, it's like warming up outside. We like to gather outside. We want to play. We want to frolic. We want to dance. We want to sing. It's a very expressive time. And it's a really good time to also be getting together with your peers and your collaborators to do some good trouble, right? Because Mars is still trine to Neptune. So that's the vibe that we're under, is good trouble, like getting together and speaking up for what you know is right. So with the card, the Eight of Swords, however, we come to this place where we're talking about themes of confinement, powerlessness, self-sabotage. You see here a person who is tied in ropes with their eyes covered, and just sort of a dismal, bleak sort of looking picture with these swords all around, right? And so I just want to say that this has to do with sort of, having talked yourself into a situation where you thought you would be secure, but you're not. Okay, there's an element of feeling confined, of feeling powerless, and so sabotaging yourself sort of by giving your power away to other people, places, things, entities, that kind of thing. So, when you surrender your power, whether it's to an organization, a person, a sort of faith path, that kind of thing, when you just sort of let go and say, I'm going to let the tide take me where it will, right? Then, you give away your own personal responsibility. You give away your own personal capability to make change, to make the changes that are necessary for you to feel a little less miserable in life, right? Because, we've all got to live this life. We might as well do it to the best of our ability where we can feel happy and engage in life, in terms of the joy that it has to bring as much as we can. So that's what the Eight of Swords is about, and we're going to get to talk about that in our upcoming episodes for the next 10 days. The moon starts off a waxing crescent here, so this is our time for thinking, planning, communicating, collaborating, getting together our best idea for how we're going to make moves to complete our goals, the goals we've been setting. So that's the waxing crescent in Gemini. We're going to move through Cancer, Leo, Virgo, and into Libra by the end of the second, the 31st. So, the moon, just so you know, it changes signs every 2.5 days. If you know somebody who is ruled by the moon, like if they have a heavy Cancer or even Pisces influence, but specifically Cancer, then, you'll notice that that they sort of change their approach, their moods change pretty quickly. They're pretty flexible. They're pretty versatile in that way, but they're also just sort of, I should say, because I'm Cancer rising, we're also just sort of like prone to change the way we are thinking and acting and feeling about things every couple of days. So, if you think that's a little strange, imagine being a Cancer. Because, it's really a case of sometimes like, oh, I just don't feel about that the way I did 5 days ago. So we start on Sunday the 21st. The sun moves on into Gemini, and that's pretty early in the morning. Yeah, that's at 2 o'clock in the morning if you're Central Standard Time like me. And so, you're going to wake up Sunday morning and the sun will be in Gemini. Gemini is our mutable air sign, okay? So it makes us, especially in our outer life, our work, social, and civic life, it influences us to be more social, to be more about what we're thinking, what we're planning, what we're trying to sort of invent and create. And, we seek versatile plans. We seek versatility in our partners. We seek diversity in the ideas that we're entertaining, right? So it's dispersible. It's the mixing and mingling of ideas. It's putting things out there and letting them bounce around and come back to us, right? And then on the same day, it's a very sunny day. Sun is trine to Pluto, culminating a trine to Pluto, while also culminating a sextile to Mars. Now, Mars and Pluto are in opposition to each other, and that's really bringing out a lot of conflict vibes in the world. Also, sometimes in our own lives, we can find ourselves sort of at odds with ourselves, if at odds with loved ones, at odds with, the general culture around us. And so right now, we just have this really increased initiative and power in pursuit of our ambition. And especially if your ambition is about, again, standing up for what you know to be right? About, seeing where injustice is and being willing to say something, to do something, to show up and make your voice heard, right? So this is really good news because that moon opposite Pluto is really challenging for us. So we at least have this increased sense of initiative. We're a little more up, we're a little more into it. We have the energy, we have the drive, and we have the power to go, stand up and speak up for what we know is good in the world. And so then on Monday, we are also a waxing crescent moon, but that will be in Cancer. So that's a little bit more of an at-home vibe. Cancer is about the hearth and the home. It's ruled by the moon. And so it's really just about being at home. Sometimes, we use this period to do some house cleaning because it's water, it's cardinal water. So it's emotion that takes initiative. It kind of makes me think of, getting mad and so cleaning the house or just feeling very strongly about something and not feeling like you can do anything about it, right? So you just clean the house. Right? So on that day, Mars is going to be culminating this square to Jupiter, and this is really, Mars is it is initiative, and it is action, it's drive, it's fire. It's also, making starts. That's what initiative. Whereas Jupiter is here to bring us good fortune and expand the things that we're paying attention to, especially expanding the things that we're taking action on. That square comes in, and where Jupiter is concerned, square isn't necessarily a negative. It's not necessarily so much a challenge as it is just a catalyst, a little light under your butt to get you going, right? So this is a good time to start a new business venture. If you've been thinking about starting a new project, it's a good idea to do it, especially if it's a project that makes you money or gets you more of whatever you want in the world. This is a good time to be making a start on it. But with Mars involved, Mars is in Leo now, we want to be careful not to come across as overly impatient, irritable, restless, pushy, aggressive, okay? This is not a time for offense, it's a time for defense, okay? We want to visualize what we're going to do. We're going to create a strategy about what we're going to do, and then we're going to push forward. It's not just, act first, ask questions later, okay? And as you visualize and strategize, and you begin to take action, you will have a bigger experience of the thing that you're trying to create, so that's great. Wednesday, the moon moves on, and I'm skipping Tuesday because there's just a lunar aspect that day, but Wednesday, the moon moves on into Leo, still a waxing crescent moon, still thinking about, still making plans for what it is that we want to culminate this month in the coming weeks and months. And so the moon's going to move over into Leo. Leo's ruled by the sun, so it's a little conflicted for the moon. And but it's really just about shining from the heart, giving love, being generous, giving appreciation, and allowing other people to be generous with you and appreciate you. That's the moon in Leo for me. So that's while we are making plans, we're feeling our appreciation for what it is that we have, what it is that we're empowered to go ahead and do, right? And Venus is going to culminate a square to Chiron that day. And again, Venus is a little bit like Jupiter. Venus is a personal planet and Jupiter is a transpersonal planet. So that's a bigger deal, and it affects more people in similar ways. Whereas Venus is a personal planet. My Venus is in the place it was where I was born. And if you were born a couple days later, Venus might be somewhere else, right? So, and I'm talking about natal charts, but not very clearly. Anyway, Venus square to Chiron here, again, offering us not necessarily a challenge, although it is. Squares do bring challenges. The challenge is not meant to slow you down. It's meant to catalyze you. It's meant to start the ignition switch, right? So that you can resolve challenges this is resolving challenges in your relationships, okay? And that's your relationship with yourself. Again, we've got this Mars opposite Pluto thing. So we're working to find resolution, find areas where we can make common ground, not just with ourselves, with loved ones, friends and families, partners, our relationship to money and spending and saving, right? Also our relationship to the larger world and the larger community. We've got to find some way to sort of, to sort of give ourselves a little bit of healing in terms of what we will, how we will engage in relationship with the rest of the world at this time. So that's great. That's very empowering. I did not put any dates on these, so I'll have to give you the dates as we go through them during the week. Then on Friday, we're going to skip Thursday and go to Friday. We're still at waxing crescent. It's one day until that first quarter moon, of course, being when we stop planning and move into action. So this is a day to start really tying up those plans, making sure you've got your I's dotted and your T's crossed. You've made all the phone calls and planning you can, so that when you hit this first quarter moon, you can spend the next week or 8 days actually taking action and culminating your goals. So on this day, this waxing crescent day, the moon moves on into Virgo. So that's, in our homes and our hearts, a very passionate, passionate, but compassionate desire to create order, especially in our hearts and in our homes, in our relationships. Moon in Virgo, also a good time to tidy up around the house, sorting out the material things of our lives so that they work more efficiently, so that they have meaning and value for us. So Venus is going to culminate a sextile to Uranus that day. Sextiles are cooperative. They give us tools. They allow us to create things of a positive nature. And of course, Venus is those things we like, love, and can't get enough of. Uranus is surprise, we're going to do it differently today, right? So we may find ourselves feeling like we're looking for some excitement in our social life, our love life, okay? This is a good time to try something new. If you're dating somebody, maybe go somewhere that you haven't gone before, you haven't gone lately. It's also a good time to remember to avoid impulsive purchases, right? Because Uranus will ask you to make impulsive purchases when it's working together with Venus. It's going to be like, oh, what can we have? What can we do? And Venus in this very sharing mood is going to say, oh, well, I guess we can go ahead and, spend $200 on that thing that we don't absolutely need, right? So just be really clear about that. You don't want to make any impulsive purchases on Friday and around Friday. And kind of as long as this vibe is hanging in here, you just want to make sure, it's not don't make the purchase, it's ask all the questions and make sure it's something that you really need or desire to have in your creative space, right? So then we go on to Saturday the 27th, and we have that first quarter moon in Virgo. We're springing into action. We're taking those plans that we made, and we're going to sort things out. Virgo always brings the words sorting things out to my mind. And it's with love and compassion for ourselves and our loved ones and our own heart and home. It's with love for having nice things, for keeping our resources in good shape. that we kind of get meticulous with Virgo, and we, you know, like line up all the books in you know, according to color, that kind of thing. So, you know, these actions that we're taking are going to be kind of sorting actions. We're going to be thinking about what the priority is, what it is that we need to do first steps first, that kind of thing. Doing what is tried and true, but, you know, also being willing to change things around so that they work better for us, right? So this is when we're unfolding plans into action, sorting out the compassionate approach to meeting your goals. And dispersal of resources comes up with Virgo too, especially if you're taking action, because Virgo is an earth sign. It's very much about your money, your finances. So this might be a time when you have to expend some money. You have to or, you know, do some work, or, you know, commit some time or expertise to something that that will help you meet your goals. It's giving away the resources so that your goals can be met. And then come Sunday the 28th, the sun is going to make a square to Saturn. Now this kind of square can be a real challenge, because we're talking about sun. That's about our ambition, our sense of purpose in life, the work we're doing out in the world, right? And Saturn can have sort of a heavy effect. It can have a depressing effect, but not necessarily, you know, I'm not necessarily just talking about sort of mental wellness depressing effect, just sort of a wet blanket effect. Imagine having a wet blanket effect on the sun, and that's the kind of day that I'm seeing there. So it can feel a lot like you're being tested by the universe, by culture, by the people around you. But the important thing is to not let it bring you down. When you feel that heaviness, that doesn't mean that you have to embody that heaviness, right? So our progress may be slowed down at this time by rules and obligations, but, you know, the challenge is always, like, the challenge is there to remind you why you are doing the things that you're doing. You know, even if it's difficult to do, if it's related to your sense of purpose in the world, if it's related to the work that you're doing, you have goals to meet, you've just got to keep moving ahead and trying to get those goals met. And really, actually, Saturn is going to help you as long as you stick to tried and true methods. Saturn is going to help you as long as you're doing something it understands, right? Which is, you know, sort of being frugal and relying on your structures for safety, your networks for support, while you move ahead on your work at a steady, reasonable pace, so that you know that you're getting things done, again, in the right order, and you know, in a thorough way that you're not going to have to come back and do anything. So that's actually good news, but it can feel pretty challenging on Sunday the 28th. And then we don't have anything on here through the 31st, because that's going to be all moon aspects. So we may discuss them as they come up. But this is the important stuff that's happening in Decan 15 of the year, May 21 through the 31st. That's Sunday, May 21 through Wednesday, the 31st. So let me know how these challenges feel to you. Geminis, speak up. Happy birthday coming up, right? So let us know how it feels for you to be moving into the Sun Gemini phase. For me, this is a really light time of year. I'm an Aries. Air feeds fire, so I feel very uplifted, and I feel sort of Gemini is dispersing energy too, and I feel sometimes a little bit like blown about in a lot of different directions, but I'm just having fun, and I'm playing, and I'm enjoying, you know, the life where the sun is shining and the weather is relatively nice. So I hope that you are too, and I think that's all I have to say about it. Thank you so much for tuning in. Please like the video, subscribe to the channel, click the notifications bell. It all helps me out a lot. Appreciate you so much for being here, and I'll see you all in the next video.